this is the now completed Pro Tools 2020 template. Within one of these stem groups here, I've got my aorc. So there's an audio track and then there's an instrument track. So I just have both of these feeding into a folder, which is a routing folder. Now to set that up, you would go here and you'd click on move to new folder. You'd say routing folder, and I would route tracks to new folder, type routing. I just keep it in samples because why not? And then name it whatever you want. In this case, I name mine aorc. And then if you see my other folders, I've got B piano, which I can open up here. And you can see within piano, there's an audio track and there is a instrument track. And then same thing within perc, there is an audio and an instrument. And the great thing with this setup is because I'm working in Pro Tools Ultimate, when I'm done with writing my music, if I have stuff inside of all these folders and I close all of them, I can bounce and I name my track whatever, or if it's a cue for a film, I'll call it like DT1MO1. She says goodbye, V1.0. And then if I change my bounce source to the buses, they're automatically set. So I have aorc, and if I keep hitting the plus, you just get your stems like that. Aorc or B piano, C per A, yada, yada. And it also bounces my stereo mix all in one go. And that's very useful because if you bounce your stems at the same time as your master, it will all sound the same, really, unless you have any crazy effects on your master. Why that's important, I think, is because let's say you have a panning effect on one of your tracks and it's not set to a grid. It's not set to quarter note. It's not set to eighth note. It's just set to some hertz value. Well, that means while you're listening once, and let's say it's on a guitar track, you press play and the guitar will be on the left because of this panning effect that you threw on. And then you press play again and the guitar will be on the right. Well, what that means is that if you bounce the track, then you might have the guitar on the left side, but then if you bounce it again, you might have it on the right. So your stems won't sound the same as your master, and that's not cool. So that's why it's important to bounce your stems all in one go with your master, and that's what we can do here with this template. The other great thing, if I just arrange a really quick basic track over here, is that if I go here, I'm just going to activate my Malmsho. Just use the key command Option D for this. Cool. So I've got this basic piano chord thing. I'm just going to quantize it to quarter notes. Why not? And then I also, by default in this template, have my reverbs and delays set up per each stem group. So the way this works is I've got reverbs and delays right here in this thing called stem effects, which I threw into a folder as well. So my pianos feed into B piano verb and B piano delay. Those go down here. B piano verb gets that input, and then it feeds back into the B piano stem. Delay, input, B piano delay, feeds into the B piano stem. So now if I press play, you have reverb. And again, that's useful because that means that the verb is only going to that stem group, and same with the delay if I turn that up. And it's not going to just like the master output on its own by default. So when I bounce my stems, they have their effects printed per each stem. Subtle delay, not really hearing it. Let's make sure it's going. There it is. I heard it that time. And then we've got this. I'm just going to copy paste the MIDI down here to my bass. I'll use this Diva bass preset that I made that I really like. And then I just take the lowest notes. Simple, quick editing in Pro Tools. Make these all the same length and all down an octave. Yeah, there we go. That's some low bass. Cool. There we go. So I hope that all makes sense. So now we can see I have my bass and I've got my piano, and then let me just steal this MIDI from the piano and add a string track too. So it's a bit of a more complete arrangement. And again, string track, aorc verb, aorc delay. And I just set it to a pre-made thing. And then those are all fed into my effects at the bottom here, which I'll just hide for now. Another cool thing with these, this is a basic folder for the stem effects. Now I'll add more verb. And now the other great thing about this template is if I use Option and I click here on the Close Folder button, I close all my folders. If I don't have Pro Tools Ultimate, I can just select the range I want to bounce. And then I can actually just consolidate right in place, Option-Shift-C. And then I don't need Pro Tools Ultimate. I can just hit this, hide, make inactive the current folders, and then it will just bounce out the auxes that these routing templates are. And then I get my my stems like that, and I can just hit Command K, I think, or Command Shift K, or whatever it is, export clips, and then name it accordingly. Takes a little more time, but still useful in terms of offline bouncing your stems and your master. So overall, it's just a way faster workflow, I think, than anything else that I've come across in Pro Tools before. But now, so we have this basic arrangement here, and I'm just going to add one more. What I'm going to do actually is duplicate the arrangement. So I'm going to go up here, hit Command D. And you can see that I just did that up here in the scoring folder, which is all of my stems feed into here. And then I can just go up here, hit Command D, and the whole project gets duplicated, which saves me a ton of time. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to make a new instrument. So let's find a cool sound to throw on here. I'm just going to mouse around, and I'm going to pick a random number that I probably haven't used before. Not great. Not great. Getting there. That's cool. And if I solo safe that, and then I solo the track, let's see, why aren't we hearing it? Do I have to solo safe that? I do. That's why. Cool. So now we've got a bunch of stuff. Look at that. So now this is our arrangement. And if I close all my folders again, we can see our arrangement in a very macro way. And then I could just duplicate this, and the whole track is looped. And I can duplicate the signal loop, and voila. And if I have multiple tracks, you can see how this is going to be a way faster way of arranging my song using this folder track workflow. And then let's say I just want to get rid of the piano. And if I had multiple piano tracks, like let's say I had this over here too, not that, like this, whoops. And I want to mute the double piano. Well, I can just go right here with the folder closed, hit Command M, and it's muted. And it's really fast and really cool. Yeah, this is how I'm going to be working from now on in Pro Tools. I'm super happy with the update.